안녕하세요. 저는 미국 테네시주에 있는 Martin Methodist 대학교에서 영문학을 가르치고 있는 영문학 박사 에릭 스탈리언즈라고 합니다. 제가 이번에 우리 학교 학생들을 데리고 Spring Breakaway Trip이라는 주제로 한국을 일주일 동안 방문했었어요. 자, 그럼 지금부터 우리 여기를 소개해 드리겠습니다. This optional field trip was a component of the International Studies Program's field experience, which was connected to my English 202 World Literature 2 class. In this class, one unit covered Korean literature, the traditional Pansori narrative drama, Song of Chunyang, Hyo-gyun's early modern Korean novel, Chung Chol's early modern Korean kasa in Sijo verse form, Park Chi-won's satirical didactic vignettes, Yi Ho-sak's late modern fiction, and Kim So-wal's late modern poetry, and Yang Gui-ja's contemporary postmodern short story. The purpose of the trip was to enhance our understanding of these Korean masterpieces, as well as to introduce my students to the beautiful scenery and rich culture of South Korea. Our journey began early in the morning on Friday, March 10th, 2017. My students, Elizabeth Hernandez, Tessa Pruitt, Corey Nave, Christopher Allen, and I departed from Martin Methodist College and headed north to Nashville to board our flight. Then we flew to Atlanta and then on to Incheon. Incheon is adjacent to Seoul, the capital city. We arrived at Incheon and boarded a bus to go to our hotel in Daejeon, our destination. On Saturday, March the 11th, Peije University's Office of International Affairs, our sister university located in Daejeon, hosted our trip along with Martin Methodist College's International Studies program. On Sunday, March 12th, we hiked Mount Guryeong to visit Donghaksa Temple, a historical site with multiple Buddhist temples dating back to the 8th century. Our hike reminded us of Chung Chol's Shijo song, number 811, in which he wrote, "Above, on the bridge, a monk is crossing. Oh, monk, stop there. Let me ask about where you are going." With his staff, he points toward the white clouds and goes on, not turning to look back. We met with Unsa, a former Martin Methodist College exchange student, and hung out for the afternoon in Dunsan-dong, a major shopping district in the new downtown area of Daejeon. Then we ate dinner. On Monday, March 13th, Mr. Ryan Jong-sung Park, manager of the Office of International Affairs at Peije University, gave a formal presentation on Peije University and its international programs. Peije University is Martin Methodist College's sister university, and it is also a Methodist university. Martin Methodist has an exchange student agreement with Peije University, and Martin Methodist College students have attended the Peije International Summer School, a Korean intensive language program, in August. Mr. Park then took us all on a campus tour. Then we visited the Peije University Museum to view historical documents and ancient Korean pottery and artifacts. We attended a lecture led by Professor Ralph Cousins of the Tourism Department at Peije University. We discussed Korean history, politics, sociology, economics, and current events. Then we ate dinner again.
How about here?
On Tuesday, March 14th, led by Mr. Park, we took a tour of Seoul. We first visited the Appenzeller Noble Museum, which documents the history of Peije University and its founders within the context of the history of education in Korea. We had noodles for lunch, and we practiced our skills using chopsticks.
Take them on the plate, Mike.
You don't have to do it softly.
Yay! Oh!
As we passed City Hall, Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon passed by with his entourage. Mr. Park and I stopped to bow to him. Mayor Park walked 3 or 4 feet, turned around, and walked straight to me. He shook my hand and asked, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Pulaski, Tennessee." He asked, "Why are you here?" I said, "I'm here on a spring break trip with my students." Then he spoke with my students and took some group photos. He was very kind to us. We visited a memorial of the ferry tragedy of 2014, in which over 300 students died. We saw the famous King Sejong the Great of Joseon statue in Gwanghamun Plaza. We also toured the Story of King Sejong exhibition hall located beneath this famous statue. King Sejong, a ruler of the Joseon dynasty, is best known as the founder of Hangul, the Korean alphabet, which made literature possible in the common everyday language. Seeing King Sejong's statue reminded us of Hyokyun's The Tale of Hong Kiltong, in which King Sejong was a character. Hyun wrote, "During the reign of King Sejong in Joseon, there was a minister whose name was Hong. Early in life, he had 2 sons. The first son was named In-hyong, and the other son was Kiltong. Minister Hong once dreamed of Kiltong's birth. Sudden thunderbolts resounded, and a green dragon with flailing whiskers leaped at him. Then we visited Doksugung Palace and the Throne Hall, which served as the king's residence during the Joseon dynasty. We had the opportunity to witness the changing of the guard, a reenactment of Joseon dynasty pageantry, evoking the following imagery from the famous story, The Song of Chunyang. Banners fluttered in the wind. The servants, dressed in brightly colored coats with bandoliers of white cloth and wide-brimmed felt hats, decorated with tortoiseshell ornaments, worn low on their brows, carried the banners, "Make way! Make way!" We visited Namsan Seoul Tower, which is located on top of Namsan Mountain.
Wrong day.
The tower is about 70 stories high and offers a panoramic view of Seoul and the Han River. Seoul, the South Korean capital, spanned as far as the eye can see, and we reflected on the vast breadth of the city, just as Yangkwija in Coldwater Pass reflected on the sprawl of the city in nearby Incheon in the late 20th century. She wrote, "The family home was completely different now, alone amid the inns and stores that had sprung up after the roads were widened. My hometown was almost unrecognizable to me now. After the stream that ran in front of the house that was covered by a road, our neighborhood was rapidly incorporated into the city. The old neighborhood was gone. It was no longer a residential district. Home existed only in the past. Someone once wrote that man lives by confirming the existence of his family home in the willow trees by the entrance to a village." We had dinner in Insadong and then did some shopping. The evening brought the bright neon lights of one of the most popular shopping districts of Seoul. The city lights reminded us of Kim So-wol, graduate of Beijing University, who wrote about Seoul in the first half of the 20th century. In his poem, Seoul Night, he wrote, "Red light green light for the open road, red light for the dead-end alley. Electric lights are flashing." On Wednesday, March 15th, we visited the Daejeon International Center, which offers information about Daejeon for international visitors and residents. They also allow internationals to wear the traditional hanbok, which is still worn during formal ceremonies such as weddings. We walked around the Central Market in Daejeon. It is a traditional open-air Korean market where people can purchase fresh produce, seafood, household wares, appliances, and much, much more. Central markets are commonplace throughout Korea and have a long history. In Yi Hyosak's When the Buckwheat Blooms, we studied the main character Ho Sang-won, who spent his life walking from one marketplace to the next to sell his goods. Hyosak wrote, "The marketplace had the untidy sprawl of a courtyard after a family gathering. Ho Sang-won had spent half his life sleeping at the same country inns, and walking from one market town to the next along roads awash with moonlight. To Ho, home sweet home was the beautiful landscape along the roads that led him from one market town to the next. We participated in a group discussion with several TESOL classes. We discussed literacy issues in Korea and related cultural topics. On Thursday, March 16th, we traveled to Jeonju City to visit the Hanok Mall, or traditional folk village. We took a tour of the Royal Portrait Museum at Gyeonggi-jeon Hall. The main portrait is of King Daejo, the founder of the Joseon dynasty. We also examined the Jeonju History Archive. We took a lunch break and ate bibimbap, for which Jeonju is famous. In Jeonju, people rent costumes of the Joseon dynasty and take many photos. In particular, some men dress as the Yangban, the officials of that time. Consequently, these costumes reminded us of the story of a Yangban. To explain the importance of the Yangban, the author wrote, "Now the term Yangban has many implications. He who studies only is called a scholar. When he holds court rank, he is called a great officer. When he has moral authority, he is called a superior man." We shopped, ate street food, and viewed Jeonju from the Omukdae, where Yi Seong-gi celebrated his victory over Japanese invaders in 1380. This overlook offers an unbroken view of the entire Hanok village. Hanok refers to traditional houses with their tile or thatched roofs, which are commonplace in Korean literature, such as in Park Ji-won's The Story of Master Ho. His story opens and concludes at Master Ho's traditional cottage. He wrote, "Master Ho lived in Mukchok village. Those who went straight up the valley beside Mount South came to a well in the shadow of an old ginkgo tree. The twig gate to Ho's house, which faced the ginkgo tree, was always open, and his small thatched cottage was exposed to the wind and rain." We left Jeonju. As we rode the train, the sun set as we traveled back to Daejeon. As we traveled, I thought of Kim So-wal's untitled poem about the sunset. He remarked, "Look, dear friends, the sun goes down, and day passes by. Everywhere the world glitters bright, little by little, it all turns dark. Now we have the darkness and night." On Friday, March 17th, we attended a lecture by Professor Jung-tae Kim of the TESOL Business English Department at Beche University. He provided a historical overview of the Korean educational system. On Saturday, March 18th, we drove to Gongju National Museum, which is about 1 hour from Daejeon by car. We examined the artifacts of King Myeongjong's tomb. He reigned in the 6th century. Then we toured the gallery that displayed artifacts from the Paleolithic Age to the unified Shilla period of Korea. The exhibit provided a historical context for the tomb exhibit. Christopher also enjoyed the virtual reality goggles in the hands-on exhibit. This exhibit took people on a virtual tour of the museum's attractions. We played Tuho, a traditional Korean game with ancient origins, and we saw the Gongju Hanok village. We ate spicy kimchi stew for lunch. As people often say, kimchi, a seasoned food made from fermented, salted vegetables, such as radishes and cabbage, is not just a food in Korea, it's a lifestyle. That afternoon, Corey and Christopher attended a professional soccer game. This was the second of 2 games they saw on 2 different days. Daejeon played Seoul on one and Seongnam on the other. We had dinner with Unsa Park, who studied at Martin Methodist College as an exchange student, and her family. After dinner, we visited the Expo Park, which was built to commemorate the Daejeon World Expo. We also viewed the beautiful city skyline. After checking out of the hotel, we did some last-minute shopping Then we took the express bus back to the airport. In the end, we had a lot to reflect upon. Thanks again to Elizabeth, Tessa, Corey, and Christopher for making the journey to and from Korea with me. We have happy memories of our trip and of our friends in Korea. This trip strengthened our knowledge of Korean historical and literary traditions. We love Korea, and we are grateful for the kindness of its people. We cannot wait to visit Korea again. 감사합니다.